Hi and welcome to the Malat cookery channel. So today I'm making Jamaican style honey and mustard glazed chicken. So this is another really simple dish but absolutely packed with flavour. The spice blend we're going to be using from the Malat range is a Jamaican jerk seasoning. And if you don't have access to the Malat range of products, then choose a really decent jerk seasoning for this recipe. The seasoning is the key to making this recipe a success. As usual, a full list of ingredients will be given at the end of the video, so let's have a look at those ingredients now and anything else we're going to need for today. So a really simple ingredients list for this recipe. I'm using chicken drumsticks. Use any chicken you like for this recipe, it doesn't matter. 5 tablespoons of honey. Going to be using some English mustard, so a teaspoon of English mustard. Now normally with honey and mustard glazed chicken, the classic recipe, you'd use something like a whole grain mustard, a French mustard, but because this is a Jamaican style, we want a little bit more bite to the mustard, so that's why I'm using English mustard. Got 20 grams of Malat jerk seasoning, or whichever seasoning you're using, and this is completely optional. I'm using a little bit of red food colouring. So the restaurant that I got this recipe from, the Malat customer, they use red food colouring because that's what their customers expect. Completely optional, you don't have to use this at all. So the first thing we want to do is to mix our glaze together. So I've got the honey in a bowl, and we just add in all of the other ingredients. Just mix that in thoroughly. Once we've mixed this in, we're going to add a little bit of hot water from the kettle just to loosen that honey up, so it's just easier to place onto the chicken. Okay, so once that's mixed in, we're just looking at maybe a tablespoon or so of hot water, and again just mix that in. It just makes it a lot easier to brush over the chicken. So 2 ways to cook this chicken. One is in the oven, the other is on the barbecue. I much prefer to have this chicken cooked on the barbecue, but today, really dreadful day outside. It hasn't stopped raining all morning, and the forecast is that it isn't going to really stop raining all day. So forced to cook this in the oven. Still going to be absolutely fantastic. Preheat the oven. If you're doing the chicken in the oven, then preheat the oven to 180 degrees centigrade. Now the cooking time obviously varies depending on what oven you have, but I'm going to cook this for about an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half. The reason for that slightly extended cooking time is I want to baste this chicken through that cooking process, and obviously every time we open the oven door we release some of the heat. So going to baste the chicken. This is whether you do it in the oven or on the barbecue. Give it a nice basting with the sauce or the marinade. Baste it every maybe 15 minutes. And then if the chicken does start to brown a little bit too much in the oven, you can cover the tray with foil. Okay, so that's the last glaze of the chicken before the chicken goes back into the oven for the final 15 minutes. The point I just want to make regarding the video is when we first started to glaze the chicken, obviously the chicken was raw. We were glazing with the brush, placing the brush back into the glaze and then onto the chicken again, which means that we could have transferred some harmful bacteria from the raw chicken into the glaze. That's fine, because as we glaze the chicken through the cooking process, obviously the glaze is being cooked out. The point I'm trying to make here is that this chicken is now going to go back into the oven for the last 15 minutes, which means that glaze will be perfectly safe. When the chicken comes out of the oven just before serving, if you've got any glaze left, don't be tempted to cover the chicken with that glaze before you serve, because obviously there could be some harmful bacteria in the glaze. So if you've got any glaze left, just from this point on, just throw the glaze away. So as I said, this chicken is going back into the oven for the final 15 minutes and it'll be absolutely perfect. So there you go, Jamaican style honey and mustard glazed chicken. Absolutely delicious, really simple to make. Please subscribe to the channel, and as usual, if you've enjoyed this particular video, hit the like button. Your support is absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much.